Thank you for listening and welcome to the Life Podcast, a proud member of the Eventide Entertainment Podcast Network. I'm your host, Don Smith. Eric Busio finds himself on the show again, recording at Wiley's Comedy Club showroom. Cal Jensen joins us for the first time ever, and we talk about offensive comedy. If you enjoy the show, like and follow The Life 1069 on Facebook and Don Smith Comedy on Twitter, or tune in live on Tuesdays from 7 to 9 p.m. on WWSU 106.9 FM, or you can stream the show live at wwsu1069.org.
The brutal presence overwhelms me. The brutal presence overwhelms me.
All right, it is time for the Life Radio Show. I'm your host, Don Smith. We are coming to you not live. We are dead this week. We are dead this week at Wiley's Comedy Club, sitting right next to the stage. It's very eerie sitting in here, not hearing any laughter. And Eric Busio is with me. He's not on stage, that's what's weird about not hearing laughter. So Eric is not on stage today. Eric, welcome to the show. It's good to have you. It's been a little while.
That was a nice intro. Thanks. Nice seeing you.
It's been a little while since you've been on the show.
Yeah,
We're low energy today.
I could tell.
Yeah,
it's been more than a year, I think, since I've been on your show.
Yeah. Well, scheduling and trying to avoid you.
Sure.
Cal Jensen.
Hello.
Is it Jensen or Jansen?
Jansen.
Cal Jansen. Okay, it's your first time on the show. Actually, first time I've met you. I think first time. I don't know.
That's that's about the impression I leave most of the time.
Okay, yeah.
I think I've seen him, but I could be any other balding guy with a beard. So
On a wanted poster.
Yeah, that could have been weird. Too. Well, welcome to the show. We don't do anything important here. We don't discuss anything worthwhile. My listeners are aware of that, so they're all on board with it.
that's perfect. I don't know anything.
Perfect. That's even better because I've been doing this for 4 years and I'm tired.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
No, I actually last week I was at the World Series of Comedy out in St. Charles, Illinois at Zanies.
How did that go?
It was fun. It was. I didn't advance. I didn't really think I would, but it was a lot of good comics out there, a lot of good feedback. Had a fun time. Tried staying up late with them. I think I got to bed about 5 o'clock, 5:30 Saturday morning.
Nice.
Had to be out of the hotel by 11, so I drove back 5.5 hours on about 2.5 hours sleep. Pretty much unloaded my car, came right to the club, and did a set on the Late Show with Jeff Bodart. So I haven't really stopped going. I think I was up about 7 o'clock the next morning doing taxes, and I was here till 10-something. Got to sleep like 11:30. Back up to work this morning. So it's been it's nonstop. It's nonstop.
Yeah, that kind of explains the tired.
Right. That kind of explains the energy of the show right now. This is it's exciting stuff. So,
I can't help but laugh. I'm sorry.
Cal, since you're far more interesting than Eric, why don't
Damn
you tell
right.
me?
Oh man, that's a lot of pressure.
It is.
No, not really. Tell me a little bit about yourself. How long have you been a stand-up comic, and what the hell got you started, and why?
I've been performing a little over 5 years. I don't know. I started for the same reason most of us. We're not really that good in the professional world, and then you look in this and think it's a way around that, and it turns out you have to be way better at it, which was
that's
Yes.
all those business
terrible
qualities and professionalism I thought I was getting away from. Is
No, you could be mediocre at a desk job and still get somewhere. And
Yeah.
you have
Right,
to be
right.
amazing or you're getting nowhere.
yeah.
In fact, most mediocre people at a desk job end up a boss. That's
Yes.
how,
That sounds about right.
Well, see, I looked at this as kind of like an individual sport, and it turns out it's like it mostly is, but as far as getting anywhere, no.
Yeah, you have to know some people, and it's kind of like a team sport, only your team is usually rooting against you when you're up
At the
there.
very least, you have to be able to make eye contact, so I've been working that one out. I got into this to learn eye contact. That's what-
There you go.
Attaboy. Halfway there. 'Cause
yeah.
Who are some of your early influences in the comedy world?
Oh man, I feel like that's
Doesn't have to be local people. You know.
Yeah, no, I feel like
calling
I
you
not
feel
gonna
like
be
that's
local
changed.
people.
I was gonna say,
I feel like
would
that's
hope not.
changed so much since I've started, though. I mean, like
Yeah.
before I got on stage, you know, you like the big big names, you know. Like I was always a big Bill Hicks fan, which I do want to drop in real fast. It's not everyone likes to post his philosophical stuff, and then people who don't know him as well go like, that's no good. That's not even a joke. This guy's just trying to be deep the whole time. But he told
Right.
good jokes. People don't forget to look at the early stuff when he had Set Up Punch, and that's the stuff I really like. I don't.
Yeah, I think they go so
That's
far and they just ended up preachy.
Yeah.
I think George Carlin used to do jokes too, and then it was all
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
It was just him ranting about the government
So
for
it's-
2 hours at a time.
Up and down in his career, and also just throughout his sets. He has specifics, like his older stuff too. You could tell it would turn into like almost one-liners or fart jokes, simple
Right.
stuff in the middle of it, and then you'd get to preachier stuff or longer essays almost that he did. So I don't know. I liked Hicks. He was good. For me, I'm a huge Patrice O'Neal fan. That's the
Okay,
guy
okay.
I really looked up to, and he was more like he said he doesn't write jokes as much as soliloquies.
Yeah, he's great.
I love Patrice.
I
He's just a-
unfortunately didn't find out about him until
Yeah.
too late. Not only just right after he died,
Everybody.
but just like even like 2 years into performing, and I was like, "Well, this
Yeah.
would have been nice to know about
Right.
this
Yeah.
guy."
And so just both of your favorite comics are dead now. So-
Yeah.
Okay. That's good. That's good.
That's what we strive for.
And mine comes with a disclaimer. I like him, but I'm not one of those guys.
Right.
Patrice really should too. If you know about his misogyny and everything,
Yeah.
come with a disclaimer.
That seems to be a lot of them anymore. You know?
Well, I don't know. I think whatever beliefs Patrice had, he was able to back them up better than people really gave him credit for.
Right.
And also, half the time he was just messing with people.
Yeah, the funny thing about that is, I mean, like Hicks was what early '90s. He died. I
Right.
mean, Patrice only 10 years ago. About you know what I
Not
mean?
even.
And he was just in that short of a time. It's already
Yeah.
like whoa. Imagine if he said that now. I mean, you know,
That's
you look
true.
at you look
That's
at
true. I see what you're saying.
Yeah. It's crazy how like he really shows how quickly that has become not acceptable.
Yeah.
At first, Bill Hicks, though, he started saying stuff like his religious stuff. That back then, it was a huge deal for somebody to say stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
About like his cross joke.
Yeah.
Nobody talked about it. It was him and Carlin were some of the first that really started doing that. And maybe even Hicks first, too.
Yeah, but then that's what I'm saying. Like it flipping back the other way.
Yeah,
where
it
you're
is
not
flipping
allowed
back
to
the
talk
other
about
way.
that stuff again. But it's like Patrice was only like
Doing
10 years ago.
Yeah.
And it was fine. Like nobody was mad at him for,
Yeah.
like you said, Eric, the misogyny or any of the
hilarious.
other stuff.
Right.
Nobody
Oh, yeah,
should
yeah,
be.
Everybody's all sensitive nowadays.
Well, yeah, well, that's what we're trying to say too. Me and Cal are both gonna be on the most offensive show here at
Oh, you
Wiley's.
guys are here to plug a show. That's right.
Yeah, I didn't even realize how good both of our comics segued into that until.
Yeah.
Nice, yeah. Well, I mean,
This
if you
is
like
the
guys,
most offensive show part 2.
part 2, that is true. So if you like guys like Patrice and Hicks and offensive guys, then this is the time to come to a comedy show, I think.
Right.
Right, I
And
mean-
that's going to be April 19th, right at 8:00 on.
Yeah,
Friday.
I should know that.
Well, I know that. I put it on the calendar. It's okay.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure that's.
That is. I looked only that up because I didn't know what else I needed to know. So I was like, I should at
that's-
least have that.
That's pretty much it. That's all. You know your name and when the show is that you're plugging.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we're
And
gonna.
whether or not you can be offensive.
Yeah,
Oh,
we're
yeah.
gonna get crazy. We're gonna get crazy in here. Gonna talk about some poo poo. You can
Uh-oh.
say that one,
Oh,
right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Gonna
you can
talk-
say poo-poos. There are some things you can say on the air.
Couple lines about privates. We got some
Uh-oh.
just
Wiener,
the hard
That's-
hitting.
wiener joke.
I mean, considering it's all just creepy dudes
Well,
on
yeah.
this,
Well,
it's bound to
Travis
happen.
Charles put the show together.
Exactly.
Party's into creepy dudes.
Yeah,
Into. It's the best way to describe them as well.
Right.
which is nice. You know,
as,
it's like
as a creepy dude or into one.
I mean, he's a narcissist, so both.
No. So in other words, he's a comic. That's what.
Yes,
It-
indeed.
it really, how many
applies
of
to
us are
every-
not narcissists?
I hate myself, so I don't know if I count.
No, you don't. You just like to people think.
All right.
that's part of the image.
Exactly. If you weren't somewhat of a narcissist, you wouldn't go on stage and talk about yourself all the time.
Yeah. I guess that's
And
one way
your
to look at
Maker's
it.
Mark penis, if that's still a joke.
Don't give
you
my
use all the time.
don't give my punchlines away.
Nobody's going to want
I do want to interject and say I haven't seen Eric in probably about 2 years, so I don't know the joke, but I am a big fan of Maker's Mark, so
Oh, well, there you go.
All right.
I'm in.
I will
I'm
say,
sold.
yep, you will love his penis.
Yeah, I'm
Ooh.
sold on. You've said it twice now, and I still
What?
feel like I can't say. I'm sold on your penis, Eric.
Yeah,
There we go.
well,
I got it
it's,
out.
it's a medical term.
Yeah.
Boy.
If we said other things, then there'd be problems. But no, medical term we can say.
Well, technically, the R one used to be, but we can't do that.
Yes, R word.
Technically, the R word still there are two separate R words. One is still acceptable. You just have to be really careful.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm
I
still
mean,
not going to say them because some people don't know that there's one that is still a medical term.
Yeah.
well, if you're talking about
Stipend.
something
Right.
that can't catch fire,
Right.
That
And
has
it's a
T-
fire.
That has a
Exactly.
T at the end instead of the ED, though. NT.
okay, that's fair.
Dant.
Right, yeah.
Instead of did.
It's an R word dance.
Yeah.
The did really is what makes the word funny, by the way.
Fire R word dant.
I'm just going to start calling people dids now.
That's getting
Well,
bad.
the dead is still a medical term. It's
Yeah,
when
yeah.
You leave,
Yeah,
it's when
did.
you leave the ED off that it becomes the.
Oh, he's
Yeah.
so did.
Yeah, what
I didn't mean to
what
give
a-
everyone. I just want to put it
You
out
just
there.
gave
It
us
was
a-
not my intention to give a
new-
slang R word.
Well, here's the good thing. Here's the good thing about this is pre-recorded, so we're not going to be in the studio at WWSU when enraged, upset, offended students charge in and try to remove our heads.
Oh, yeah, I'm
So,
not even
yeah.
from Dayton, so I'm good. By
Oh,
the
there
time
you
that
go.
goes
Yeah,
out.
you're fine then.
I think I've been good so far on your show. I know the FCC stuff, so
Yeah.
I've been
I
okay.
haven't had a whole
I don't
lot of problems. I've
Uh-oh.
not
A
had
whole lot.
of, it has happened before.
it implies there was
Was
something.
it a comic?
No,
No, I had someone on that.
Medical expert.
No. Basically, not really much of anything. She said she wanted to be on TV. Well, I want to be on TV, but she couldn't go 2 minutes without dropping an F-bomb. It's like, well, what the hell is wrong with you? You know, it was an hour and a half show at the time, and I shortened it. I got off the air like 40 minutes in. I said, we're done.
Put
We're
on some
just
U2
done.
albums.
And in 40 minutes, I think I hit the
Dump button?
emergency dump button like 15 times. And that's just to get the F-bombs out. If it was any of the other stuff, I had
Context.
to let it go. Or, you know, it's like, what is wrong with you? Well, I don't want to do radio or comedy. I want to be on TV. It's like, yeah, TV has the same regulations, you moron.
that's
you
FCC. Yeah. There you go.
That was the
Bring it
worst
back.
one. I've had a few inadvertently slip out. I was actually doing a pre-record in here with a couple of fellows from New York City.
Okay.
And they actually got really into trying to see what they couldn't say. And so they would ask me over and over again what if they could say this word rather than say, you know.
Yeah, rather than use those
And
alphabets.
they just dropped it right out. You know,
Yeah.
it's like, well, no, but thank you. Now I'm going to have to go back and edit all of
Yes,
this.
exactly. Now I got to work twice as hard.
Exactly. Yeah, that was not a fun interview.
Yeah.
But you guys are all right so far. I'm not going to kick anybody. I've almost kicked people out of the
Right.
before. That was fun. That was fun.
Has it been that bad? I think you almost
We
kicked
have
out.
our moments.
I think you almost kicked out somebody because I kept talking to them and they kept like distracting me when we were on air.
Yeah. That was one of our DJs at the station.
Right.
That, she loved your hair. I think she wanted a little Busio
Yeah.
in her diet. And yeah,
That
she
makes
was-
it way
she
creepier. You
wouldn't
said it in her
stop.
diet. That made it way creepier. But yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
And
I was getting a little irritated, and after that, I
That's
started
happened.
not letting other DJs into my show. And I know some of them think I'm kind of a jerk because we'll get ready to start a show, and they'll be in there. They were hanging out with the guy that had his show before mine. They just assume they can keep sitting there through my show, and I'll be like, "What are you doing?" Well, I'm just sitting in. Yeah, sit out.
Yeah. Right.
They're good kids over there.
Well, you're not showing up to their shows, are you? I mean,
Exactly. No,
yeah.
I'm not. Unless I've had some of them invite me, and occasionally I will, but only if
Yeah,
I'm
not just
not.
on
I'm
your
not
own
going to just
volition.
force myself into somebody's show.
Yeah. I just was in this
Yeah.
chair. I didn't want to.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
wasn't planning on moving.
Just record around me. No, that's been. Yeah, I got a little irritated a couple of times with that. 'Cause,
Yeah.
yeah.
What else happened? I remember some narcissistic actor or something was in, and he kept talking about
man.
himself.
Yeah.
And
which is fine. This is kind of a show where you talk about yourself.
Sure,
He was-
but like just
he was like almost talking about his greatness in third person.
Yes,
It
he was.
kinda-
just a local actor.
yeah,
And so I know how radio works, and they didn't have their headphones on, so I'm just on the other side of the room going, ugh, right into
Oh,
the
yeah.
microphone.
Oh, yeah.
I know you caught that later and told me about it. Every
Yeah,
time
that
he
was
said something
cracking me
annoying.
up. Well, he came in. He was full blown Hollywood when he came in there. He was the biggest thing in that radio station.
I don't understand. Like, does that person do a lot of radio? I mean, because you've already told me about two people who think they're like bigger than this show, and then no
they don't.
offense
They
to
don't,
you,
yeah.
but like there's like this lady's like, I'm going to be on TV, and it's like, well, you're just now
Right.
getting a chance on radio.
Yeah. Update by the way. Never been on TV. She never.
Of course not.
Maybe Cops.
That's a possibility. Yeah, I could see that happening. But no, now I do see the other guy pop up every now and then on Facebook
All right.
in some other film that's usually a short film that goes to festival and dies. But yeah, that's you get all kinds in this radio station. So.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
this show and this business in general.
Well, yeah,
is
that's
just
Well,
full.
that's what I always say. I do a lot of film and on stuff on the side, and that's one
right.
of the things It's a business of big personalities and a lot of big personality conflicts, and the best way to keep getting work is just stay out of the middle of them.
I actually find that interesting because, I mean, being from Cincinnati, it's kind of hacky for me to rag on your city, and that's not what I'm trying to do. But even just from
it's terrible. It's
the
okay.
couple years of me coming to here at Wiley's and knowing some of the guys here, some of the people you guys have had on like your Sunday shows is like the amateur nights, because like
Infamous.
back home. On our Wednesday amateur nights, we've not had. I mean, we've had some crazy people and some people say some messed up stuff, but not guys coming in with their shorts down or whatever. Where there was a guy in knee pads and
He had a
Somebody
traffic
fell
cone,
off.
through his pants.
yeah, we like it's. I mean, I just don't see as much of that stuff, and we're a bigger city, but not by much. I'm not saying we're like a metropolis, but you'd think
At least twice the size.
you would
though.
think by the
Well, still,
numbers.
we could send some of them down.
You would
that
th-
way, 'cause I'm
Yes.
I know
There's
getting
more
sick
mental
of-
illness around here.
I
I
don't
think.
think they have a car, let alone a bus pass to get down to Cincinnati. But like, I don't know. Do you think just by the numbers that we would have had one or two incidences like that?
Yeah, just
within
by
within the
accident, yeah.
5 that I know about happening here, just in the
Oh
last
no,
few
it's at
years.
least what, like 2 or 3 a year, like that.
Oh yeah.
At least something
Sometimes
like
more
that.
than that. There's Puke's been up a couple times. He hasn't been
He-
back in a long
No,
time.
since
but
he
not-
fell off
Yeah,
the-
not since he fell off. the table.
Some guy just went up and just what did he do? What did he even talk about? I forget. It was
I
just
actually
terrible.
think I saw that
Just-
video because they
Oh,
can't.
Puke, yeah, he was just. It was
I liked
just
his pants.
Not funny.
Yeah, he was just really like
Well,
trying
the
to be
first time
funny
he
and
was up,
offensive.
he was in like it was a pair of cut off bib coveralls, jeans, denim, and he was he was something.
The video I saw, yeah, it reminded me of when I was a kid in the '90s. He looked like paint and splatter, kind of like
Yes.
almost pajama
Yeah.
style paint.
Almost
I
like
don't know.
Pauly Shore.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what he was going for.
I
He
don't
was
know.
going for the Pauly Shore look.
And then after he
Wanted to
finally
be
got
the weasel.
cut off, and then he just tries to jump off the stage right here next to you, and just boom, just goes through the tables. Pretty much, it was amazing.
Yeah, we get all kinds in here, and it's sometimes it's entertaining. Sometimes it makes me mad because there are some people in there. This is their first time in the club, and that's
Right.
what they have to
Yeah,
see.
not only that, but the
yeah,
poor
that's-
comic that has to go after them. If they're a newer guy, they might have had some good stuff they were going
Right,
to try for
and
the
it's
first time, and they got to
Deal with that.
come back from that.
It's kind of hard, to go
yeah.
to follow that.
And they go up and just start doing their
Jesus.
set like it didn't happen.
Yes,
like,
pretend that
well,
didn't-
I was in the vet the other day.
Yeah,
What's the deal?
but
Yeah. that's part of the challenge. It's kind of like I still have to get over and do Nate Washington's Comedy Fight Club.
Oh, you haven't done that yet?
Point. I have not.
Ooh.
I have not made it.
It's
over
brutal,
yet.
but it's it's brutal going in.
Right.
You have to know it's all it is. You spin a wheel. The comics spin a wheel to see what has to happen during their set or what they have to do during their set. Like somebody had to sing their jokes, or you have to just basically a tough crowd where people just heckle as much as they can. A newer guy was on. I think his name's Brighton. That guy.
Oh man,
he got so because he's very new.
Yeah.
And he was obviously nervous even before that, and then he went up, and for some reason he decided to take off his shoe. So I just went up and threw it across the room. And people just started going up, like surrounding him. So imagine like 5 guys just surrounding you, staring at you down while you try to tell jokes. It was so brutal.
It'd make the room feel more full.
Yes.
Wow, they're all the way right up here.
Yeah,
it's so brutal.
Crowd.
But that's the thing about comics, because we know what it's like to bomb. We get a kick out of watching people bomb.
Yeah, because we're sadistic.
Yes, of course. So every time we've seen guys like Puke or other guys, the guy with the traffic cones in his pants and whatever, doing horrible, it's silence throughout the whole crowd, except all the way back you hear comics dying.
Yes, that is always...
And
when somebody's that's what I always tell people when they're first starting out. It's like if you hear laughs through the front part of the room, you're doing okay. If you hear nothing but laughs coming from the back, you got to rewrite some stuff.
Yes, you're doing terrible.
Because the comics are laughing at you dying.
That's a great way to put it.
You might get on the most offensive show part 3, but it's not going to help you much outside of that.
Right. Hey, good plug in there. I like that. All right, I'm going to go ahead and hit the comedy rundown. We're going to take a little break and. Not very long break, because it's going to be an imaginary break because we're just sitting here. So we're not actually going to play music on here. We're just going to take a break.
We got it.
And I'm going to put some stuff on there and make people that are listening when we're no longer, when we're on the air, make them think that we're in the studio taking a break and having a smoke, and then they're going to walk by and just be really confused. It's really what I'm
how it
going
works?
for. Yeah. Yeah, well, they're college students. They're easily confused.
Oh.
All right, here's this week's comedy rundown. It's the most offensive show.
Yes,
Part
it is.
2. Advertisement for it. Here's this week's comedy rundown brought to you by the legendary Wiley's Comedy Club at 101 Pine Street in Dayton's historic Oregon District. Call 224-JOKE or go to wileyscomedy.com for all the best in Dayton comedy. Tuesday, April 9th. Open mic at Peach's Grill at 104 Xenia Avenue in Yellow Springs. That show starts at 8 p.m. There's also the Laughing in Paradise show at Paradise Key Cafe at 3243 Needmore Road in Dayton. That show starts at 9 p.m. I'm going to be on that one. That's why I'm not in the studio today. Wednesday, April 10th, open mic at Hannah's at 121 North Ludlow Street at 7 p.m. See Raymond Jackson to get stage time on that show. There's also an open mic at Mila's Suburban Cafe at 606 Taywood Road in Englewood at 7 p.m. I don't know anybody that's been on that show, so I think it's a mix of things. I just don't know how much comedy they get on that one.
No idea.
Also on Wednesday, open mic at the Buckeye Sports Lodge at 126 West High Street in Springfield. That show starts at 8 p.m. Also an open mic at South Park Tavern at 1301 Wayne Avenue. That show starts at 9 p.m. And also Wednesday, April 10th, Steve Hofstetter is going to be at Wiley's Comedy Club at 101 Pine Street. That show starts at 7:15 p.m. Thursday, April 11th, Neil Griffin and Friends at W.O. Wright's at 3979 Colonel Glenn Highway in Beaver Creek. That show starts at 8 p.m. I'm going to be on that one, too. I've heard good things, actually, from last week. Yes, I have.
Okay.
And not just from Neil. Also Thursday, April 11th, Jay Muse is at Dayton Funny Bone at 88 Plum Street in the Green. There's also an open mic at the Spirited Goat at 118 Dayton Street in Yellow Springs. That show starts at 7 p.m. Also an open mic at the Barrel House at 417 East 3rd Street from 8:30 to 11 p.m. And an open mic at the Hookah Bazaar at 958 Patterson Road. That show starts at 10 p.m. Sign-ups if you want stage time are at 9:30. Friday, April 12th, Michelle Wolf is at the Dayton Funny Bone at 88 Plum Street at the Green. Friday and Saturday, April 12th and 13th, Rich Reagans is at Wiley's Comedy Club at 101 Pine Street in the Oregon District. Got to take a breath every now and then. Saturday and Sunday, April 13th and 14th, Jackie Fabulous is at the Dayton Funny Bone. And Sunday, April 14th, Wiley Sunday Comics is back at Wiley's Comedy Club at 101 Pine Street. That show, as always, starts at 8 p.m. Comics come out to the Comics Hang from 5 to 7 before the show and work on some of your terrible jokes. You know they need it. That is it. As always, check out wileyscomedy.com and DaytonFunnyBone.com for details and tickets to upcoming shows. And don't forget to show some love. Never mind, don't show some love because Hannah's is no longer on Monday nights. I just didn't change that on my sheet, so I just kept reading it. It's like the guy with the teleprompter on.
What a bummer! I was hoping to hit something tonight since I'm already out here.
Well, there you go.
Good luck with that.
The Hannah's was the only Monday open mic we had, and it's now moved to Wednesdays. So, all right, well, we'll be back here shortly. I'm going to play some stuff and listen to some things, and enjoy. We'll be back.
Nothing
Hey, this is Don Smith with the Life Radio Show on WWSU 106.9 FM. I want to let you know that the World Series of Comedy is back at Wiley's Comedy Club this year. That's right, from May 28th through June 1st. 40 top comedians will compete for bragging rights, prizes, and the chance to go to the main event in St. Louis to compete against the top 100 comics in the country. This is a great chance to come out and support your favorite local comics and see some up-and-coming funny people doing what they do best. Tickets are available at wileyscomedy.com. See them all now while they still work cheap.
Move over, Jimmy Kimmel. Step aside, Conan O'Brien. Back off, Stephen Colbert. It's my turn. I'm Mike Shea, and every Tuesday on my show, Mike Talks Funny, I sit down and talk with comedians, actors, film fans, podcasters, anybody willing to get down, get deep, and get dirty.
I don't remember the first time I had sex. That was horrible. I didn't even finish the first time I had sex.
I've tasted what most comics want, and now I have to go back and eat the leftovers.
You're so brave for wearing that shade of lipstick on stage. Oh my God.
Think of Last Comic Standing, and Mystery Science Theater 3000 had a baby, and that's the show.
My online doppelganger is also a larger black man. He is Adrian Miller. All the top results are he's a professor.
Interviews with great people, not to mention all kinds of awesome new music every show.
Hey, this is Don Smith.
This is Scotty Mage.
Hey, this is Kevin Goatee with Comics Watching Comics.
Brought to you by Eventide Entertainment.
Liar! Now, I ought to cut your lying throat the line. I'm a cow. A big, hip, fat, nasty, buttermilk-making cow.
All right, we're back on the Life Radio Show. I know you missed us. You were just waiting for us to come back from our little limbo. I'm your host, Don Smith, here as always. I'm sitting here next to Eric Busio. I was trying to come up with a dig. I'm just tired, Eric.
As always?
As always.
I haven't seen you in like a year.
No, I'm here as always.
Oh, okay.
You're just here, too. Not as always. If you were always here, I'd have left.
Oh, yeah. This would not last.
Now
I
you know how to
that.
get your own radio show, Eric.
Yeah,
Just keep showing up.
Yeah.
All right.
Keep showing up. You'll drive everybody else out, and you can just take the controls.
That's how I get anything I want.
Oh, well, there you go. There you go. Cal Jansen is.
Hello.
I got it right that time, didn't
Yes,
I?
yes.
All right, awesome. He's Cal's still in with us. You doing all right? You enjoying the show so far? It's your first time. I want to make sure we're gentle.
It's been a lot of fun, yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's tough sitting next to that unattended Wiley's bar, but I mean,
Yeah, that's
That is true. That is true. If I had been an owner here in my 20s, I would have been passed out behind that bar like every night. I would have never reached 30. I don't think it's a wonder I did anyway. Oh, alcoholics are fun. All right. Well, we have some news stories we should probably get to, and if you're not familiar with the show, usually the first half we talk about you guys and some of me, probably because of the whole narcissist thing that we were talking about earlier. The second part, we cover some of the most important news stories in the world.
Good.
Yeah,
In the world.
As I mentioned
we
earlier,
cover
I
it
know
all here.
Very little, so I'm ready to be informed.
Okay, you will learn absolutely nothing from these.
In the
But,
world.
in the world, yes. You heard it here first. Both of those people that are listening heard it here first.
Mm-hmm.
A Louisiana daycare center has had its license revoked after 4 toddlers somehow got loose and a driver spotted them near a local highway. The Louisiana Department of Education revoked the license of Color Wheel Learning Center in Prairieville after receiving a report on March 22nd about the tot escape. Local news station WAFB reports. According to the station, daycare staff had no explanation for how the 1-year-olds got out of the play yard and ended up outside of a fence by a nearby highway. The passerby spotted the kids, stopped, gathered the children, and returned them to the daycare. That's fortunate. Could have been worse.
Yes.
The center had a similar incident last October when a 1-year-old opened a gate and wound up in the parking lot. That event led to a citation from the state for lack of supervision. The outlet notes that if Color Wheel doesn't appeal its current license revocation, or if it does appeal and is denied, the center will be effectively closed. Sounds to me like the kids are already running out. It's not much of a daycare center if they're not there.
I have a feeling one of those kids was found with a screwdriver in his diaper. But
You mean like a vodka and orange juice?
no,
I mean,
No,
'cause
no.
it's Louisiana.
No,
that's
like the
possible
old,
too.
like
'cause
the
I think
old,
they start fairly early. Down
the
there.
old Nickelodeon cartoon where the babies would always
Rugrats.
escape. Yeah.
Oh, okay. See, I'm not a Rugrats fan, so that's.
I like how you said it happened before, and it was like, they got fined. It's like,
Yeah, that's because it was just
pay
a
us $50, and then
it was
you're
just
out.
in the parking lot. It's like, lost one kid in the parking lot.
But
You're
4 at the
okay.
highway
It's-
is a little bit different.
yeah. Well, they were hitchhiking, so and they learned it there. So
I mean, anything to get out of Louisiana.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's what they were trying to do. They were trying to make it up to Arkansas, and because it's not much better in Arkansas.
They had to find out for themselves.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you can't teach a 1-year-old crap. They have to learn on their own.
Yeah.
Don't touch it. It's hot. Don't go to Arkansas. They're
Cars
bad
go
people.
fast.
Cars go fast,
and they hurt you.
I think they should. I mean, like, of course, they obviously need to get.
But they do know how to pick locks, apparently. So
Yeah, that's what, see. Obviously, they do need to get better doors, but I don't think that they should. Forget about these kids. Like, you know how when people would cheat casinos, then later that guy works for the casino to teach them how to not cheat it as well.
Yes.
They got to get these kids on their
yeah.
team. Maybe like a locksmith. Get these kids to teach them how they're breaking out of this stuff, so they can, keep the other 1-year-old.
Because like the FBI needs a con man in order to catch a con man.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
way they know
The
what they're up
hackers.
to.
So they got to get these
Hackers.
babies on
Yeah.
their side.
That's
and
what
figure
they
out
need.
How to keep
they
the other
need,
babies safe.
Yeah, they need toddler narcs.
Yeah.
They need a toddler snitch in there telling them how they're doing it.
You know what? Maybe they were trying to teach them. Like maybe the toddlers were being like, "Hey, this door's open," but no one was looking at them anyway, so it didn't really work. The toddlers were like, "We tried to show you."
In this day and age, they could have identified as much older than them.
Yeah.
They could have identified as 18-year-olds, and they didn't think they had to be there.
Who was babysitting them anyway? Heroin addicts?
Apparently, nobody. Was,
What hap-
I
how
think
do
that's
you-
the citation, is that nobody was actually babysitting them.
Did they just leave the shift empty? Like, what happened? How do they have nobody in the building?
I think the people working there actually saw it happen, but they couldn't figure out how to get out of the gate, which is really ironic.
Yeah.
That's a good possibility. Yeah.
Oh, bait and switch there.
Yeah, maybe that's why they were so upset the kids left, is they didn't know how to leave at the end of their
They're
shift.
like, who's
They were
really
locked
running
in.
things
Yep,
around here?
The kids locked them in after they left. We got more mileage out of that story than I thought we would. That's actually, I'm impressed by that one. Let's see if we can keep going here.
Sure.
And the next one's about Nazis.
All right.
I got the haircut.
I was about to say, we got one sitting here with us.
Yep, it's a Führer not a Führer, but a Führer at a Lake County Sheriff's Department that they did not see coming. A bloodhound with the same name as a Nazi general. Early Friday morning, the Florida Department announced its newest canine officer, a bloodhound named Rommel. They announced it with a Twitter post, not a plot. Rommel had a plot, but that's a whole different thing. Unfortunately, the department didn't notice that the bloodhound had the same name as Erwin Rommel, a German field marshal and general who commanded Nazi forces in North Africa during World War II. A few hours later, the Lake County Sheriff's Office announced a name change was in order. Although the tweet on Twitter said, although our new bloodhound was named after a childhood pet of the handler, he learned that his name is also tied to a Nazi war criminal. After the tweet, the situation was rectified by a deputy renaming the dog Scout.
You know, this isn't the first time we found out there were Nazis in the police force.
Right, exactly. That's the thing. How do you not know?
I think.
How do you get to be an adult and you've never heard of Rommel and the Nazis?
You know, I want to go ahead and say that I don't know that name out of any of them, but like I don't know a different Rommel. I don't know a more. He's probably the most famous one
out there. Yeah,
man. That actually,
chances are his childhood dog was purposely named after Rommel.
I was going to bring that was one of the points I was going to bring up. Is obviously his dad's got some
explaining to do.
Right. But I mean, we act like they're not already called Bloodhound. Like that's a great name in the first place.
That does sound like a Nazi dog.
And then there's so many points on the Scout, which just seems like they're hunting. They're still hunting them down.
Yeah,
Jesus, that's a good point.
Yeah, that's I think they need to just have a little more thought into their
name it like
office
Flower or
I
something.
don't know,
Just
man. Just name him Himmler and then go on with your life.
Which actually,
these are my two dogs, Heinrich and Himmler.
if you guys had to, like, just one member of the Third Reich, if you had to sleep with one of them, that's which one do you choose?
I don't think it would be a matter of choosing.
No?
It's which one chooses you. That's pretty much who you're stuck with, I think.
I thought I'd get more resistance. I've only asked one other person that question, and they were very resistant. And I threw out the qualifier. I said, what if they promised to stop?
Resistance.
They promised to stop.
Promise to stop, as in the
do
whole,
all that, all those bad things. They were
okay.
doing.
So we're going to stop
'Cause
everything we're doing, but
because nobody wants to have a ready answer for that question. No one's going to be like, hold on, I've thought about this, and it's going to be. So most people are like,
you're going to be impressed at how in-depth this response is.
So if you ask somebody that, and then most people are going to be like, obviously none of them. You're like, wait. What if they promise to stop, and then they have to choose one?
Well, yeah, because then it's like, okay, yeah, they did a lot of bad things. No.
You could save a lot of people by doing this gross thing to this awful person.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're gonna do that, you might as well go all the way and go with Hitler, right?
I actually chose
take it right to the top.
I chose Goebbels after some thought, because since he was the propaganda guy, he's probably really good with his words, and he can he can make you feel all nice.
He can whisper stuff.
Yeah. He'll be like, "You're the most beautiful I've ever seen." He's he's lying, but he says it so believably.
Right.
Oh, that's true.
He
makes you feel good about yourself.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Even though you're sexually pleasing a member of the Third Reich.
Oh, you didn't say which one was giving and who was taking.
Well, I mean, I would hope. I only say that in the hopes that anytime two partners come together, they both leave satisfied.
Right.
I mean, I think you should, if they promise to stop as long as you give them, you might as well just give them a bad one.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess there weren't any specifications of how it had to be.
They didn't have to finish. You didn't qualify that.
I need to tighten up these rules. I appreciate you guys workshopping this with me.
That's what we're here. That's what we do on the Life. We make sure that we find the right answers and the
you could just be really rough with them. Pull their hair. All right, I should stop. I'm sorry.
Yes,
don't be.
Yes,
I brought it up. You're fine.
Well, it was all about a news story. A dog named Rommel.
That'd be great if somebody chose the dog.
I'm sure they had some dogs that were part of the. They would have had to.
They had Nazi dogs.
Yeah, of course. They were German shepherds.
Shepherd still sounds nicer than bloodhound.
Yeah.
Well,
but they were shepherding people. They were shepherds to people.
You're rounding something up.
But just like the Goebbels, Goebbels must have come up with that name because it's so.
It wasn't pure bloodhound or tainted bloodhound.
A pair of identical twins in central Brazil are in double trouble after a judge ordered them both to pay child support for a single baby. One of the twins had a casual fling with a woman who later gave birth to a baby girl. The woman isn't certain which twin is the dad. Judge Felipe Luis Peruca ordered both brothers, identified as Fabricio and Fernando, to take DNA tests. Both tests came back positive. They're identical twins.
Oh, no.
According to the New York Times, and neither man wanted to fess up to being the father, likely hoping to avoid paying child support. The judge, who sits in the state of wherever this is, Eric,
it's Portuguese, not Spanish.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Said the two men were taking away the child's rights to know their real dad. He ordered each twin to fork over $60 a month, or about 30% of the Brazilian minimum wage, toward the child support. $60 a month is 30% of the Brazilian minimum wage. He should work in the. He should be in something other.
Why do you think there's so many pro fighters coming out of Brazil?
Exactly. Yeah.
There's nothing else there.
Right.
Man,
they've already had to fight for meals.
That must suck being the guy who didn't.
Yeah, you didn't even get anything out of it.
I mean, they probably had that their whole life. You know what I mean? Like they knock over the vase. The mom's like, "Which one of you did this?" And then he's like, "You're doing it again." But with,
I have to pay for it this time.
I've been getting grounded over your the entire
nonsense.
time.
Yes. Maybe it was actually the guy that always got in trouble as a kid doing it this time to get back at him. He's like, you know what? I got you this time.
That's his final payback. Yeah, that's the big
now we're
right
even.
Fabricio and Fernando, which one do you think did it?
That's a tough one. I think
is.
they probably. I think one was hiding in the closet and they just took turns.
See, I think that could be. They went family style.
Yes.
They went twin style on him. That's disgusting. No, I think it's Fabricio.
Why Fabricio?
I just think it is.
It's
got the slightly more effeminate name, just to kind of throw you off, so you don't think it's him.
I don't know. Maybe
they both sound like smooth dudes with names like that.
Fabricio and Fernando. Yeah.
Fernando. I am Fernando.
It's not the first time that one has blamed the other. Said, "Oh no, you hooked up with my brother just to avoid the girl, just to avoid the girl and never have to see her again, talk to her."
Absolutely.
Oh, it wasn't me;
yeah.
it was him. He sometimes acts like, no, that's not the first time this has happened.
For Fabricio.
Yeah, exactly.
You might think someone who sticks a chainsaw down his pants isn't the sharpest tool in the shed. However, it's the technique used by a thief in Fresno, California, on Wednesday afternoon to steal one from an equipment store. I can't talk today. According to the Fresno Bee, surveillance video shows a man shoving a chainsaw into his pants and using his jacket to cover the engine assembly. The suspect drove off in a silver late 1990s Ram pickup truck, according to the paper. The store's owner, Jeff Bennett, said he believes an accomplice was watching the location last week. You get a feel for these people, he said.
These people?
Yeah, what do you mean these people? People who shove chainsaws down their pants. That's a special kind of person right there. Chainsaws aren't that expensive. I would think the cosmetic surgery and reattaching everything.
I mean, it wasn't on, was it? I think everybody would have noticed if it was.
Yeah,
no, it always looks like this.
Yeah. Yep.
It'd be great if it was like plugged in with the extension cord and you just saw it leading to somebody's pants.
Yep, there's a different attachment for the end of that one. That's
what I mean. Usually, was he just? Do you think it was to sell? I mean, because you said they're not that expensive, but like, who needs a chainsaw that bad?
Right.
Like who? Like if he's got something he needs to chop down that bad, he probably owns a home.
Right.
Then
or can borrow from a friend.
Yeah.
That's seems a bit extreme. Yeah.
What an odd thing to steal.
I didn't know Leatherface was so broke right now.
Yeah. Well, his movies aren't doing as well. Remakes weren't as good. I don't know.
You're just missing the mask, and you could fit the new role for it.
There you go.
That actually might be the best reasoning, is because then if he doesn't have a paper trail leading to buying a weapon, I didn't even think of
that's some just the fact that you thought of that.
Well, it's
just
after you said Leatherface, I was like, oh, I didn't even think about that.
Somebody needs.
I didn't even think about the possible violent implications.
Somebody needs to check your trunk and basement after you just said that.
Go right ahead, Eric.
Like I can, if anyone wants to. I know there's no picture of me on this radio, but I mean, anyone could take one look at me and know that I don't know how to work power tools, so that's not going to be it.
That's what I thought as soon as you walked in. I was like, there's that.
That must be Cal. He does not have any power tools.
And if you look at me, you would assume I do know how to work power tools.
Well, I was going to say a leaf blower. Is that wrong? That's terrible. That's terrible. I'm a terrible person.
That's okay.
Yeah, thanks. A new study suggests household cats can respond to the sound of their own names. They just don't, because they don't care. No surprise to you or most cat owners, right? But Japanese scientists said Thursday that they've provided the first experimental evidence that cats can distinguish between words and what people say. So they're like dogs, whose communication with people has been studied a lot more and who've been shown to recognize hundreds of words if they're highly trained. Like old Rommel. Atsuko Saito of Sophia University in Tokyo said there's no evidence cats actually attach meaning to our words, not even to their own names. Instead, they've learned that when they hear their names, they often get rewards like food or playtime, or sometimes bad stuff like a trip to the vet, and they hear their names a lot, so the sound of it becomes special, even if they don't really understand it refers to their identity.
I think those Japanese scientists could have learned this a long time ago just by going to one of the open mics you named earlier. Right. I mean, there's so many comics for decades. Cats are basically dogs who don't care. I mean, that's
that is
pretty much it. Yeah, that's a
these millennial cats.
Yeah, they live at home
apathetic.
in their 30s. And,
exactly.
Yeah.
Sometimes the things scientists look at, it's like
it makes you wonder. Yeah.
What if we? So now that we know that, we're just slightly more annoyed by our cat. Like, come on, man! I know you know what I'm saying. Yeah.
Now you know you're being ignored.
Good thing we got that out of the way. Thanks, scientist.
Yeah. Next, you're going to tell me the silent treatment from my wife doesn't work.
I used to joke around about how they still give drugs to animals. Like they're still testing like cocaine and different stuff on rats and stuff. It's like, what are they trying? Like,
yeah, there are plenty of people out there that would sign up to test that stuff.
And not only that, but it's
plenty
like
of comics.
Yeah,
you look at them and you go, "Yep, they're still getting high." I mean, what are they really? There's nothing to figure out there.
Yeah, I've seen those. What would this rat prefer, water or water with cocaine in it?
Yeah,
yeah.
Give him the water with cocaine in it and hand him a microphone. We're good to go. Hey, I knew we'd get to that Arkansas story. 2 Arkansas men have been arrested on suspicion of aggravated assault after police say they shot each other while taking turns wearing a bulletproof vest. The Northwest Arkansas Democrat-Gazette reports that 50-year-old Charles Ferris and 36-year-old Christopher Hicks were arrested Monday. I got to keep up with this as I go. Police affidavit said the 2 men were neighbors and were drinking on the deck Sunday. No kidding. When Ferris told Hicks to shoot him with a .22 caliber rifle while Ferris wore the vest. The affidavit says the shot left a red mark on Ferris's chest and that he was angry because it hurt. The affidavit says that Hicks then put the vest on and Ferris, quote, unloaded the clip into his back, causing bruises but no serious injuries. Court records don't list an attorney who could speak on behalf of either men. I don't think anybody could speak on behalf of either of these men.
That's the most American thing I've ever heard.
That's
and that being said, I think they're fine.
Yeah, I mean, that should be. That's
exactly. That's
both
not
consenting.
They were consenting assaults.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not only that, but I mean, like, you don't want to find out that doesn't work when your friend isn't. You know what I mean? Like when it's not your friend shooting you. Because at least he goes like, all right, I got my money's worth. Now I can
sleep easy.
Yeah.
Right.
You walk out and have somebody actually try to shoot you and go, oh, this was a defect.
Right. And if you were the police making an arrest, you would at least be somewhat appreciative that somebody's testing those things.
That's true.
Yeah. I would have thanked them. They're providing a service to the Arkansas State Police.
What is so? You said it was aggravated assault.
Aggravated, yeah. Well,
they both got charged with it.
Yeah, they both. 2 men have been arrested on suspicion of aggravated assault.
At the very least, bump it down to jovial assault because they weren't. I mean, they obviously weren't mad.
Yeah, they were just having.
I don't know. Unloading the clip on somebody's back sounded a little angry.
Yeah, he was a little angry because it hurt.
He was like, "This thing's really good."
Yeah, that vest is great. Hit me again, Bobby.
How often do you get to shoot your friend? And assuming
not nearly often enough.
They probably thought with no repercussions.
Now, when we were kids.
Yeah.
We did used to get in BB gun fights, and that was really stupid. You know. As was this.
Stupid,
when we
but
were
not
kids,
aggravating.
We weren't nearly as drunk.
Speak for yourself.
Well, I said not nearly, you know. Oh, okay. What do we have time for one? I think we have time for one more from the Philippines. Philippine customs officials were astonished when they opened nicely gift-wrapped boxes of cookies and oatmeal flown in all the way from Poland and found a hair-raising contraband, hundreds of live tarantulas. Bureau of Customs personnel seized 757 tarantulas at a mail exchange center near Manila's International Airport Monday, and later arrested a Filipino man who tried to claim the long-legged and venomous spiders, which were declared as, quote, collection items. Many of the baby tarantulas were concealed in small plastic vials punctured with holes for air, while bigger spiders were shipped in see-through plastic containers. Officials estimated the value of the unusual shipment at 310,000 pesos, which is about $5,900 American. Philippine wildlife laws prohibit the trading, collection, and possession of such spiders, which are popular pets among arachnid enthusiasts without permits. You can have them with permits. You just can't ship them in from Poland. They were Polish spiders.
Out of all places to not have tarantulas, and you said Poland and Philippines. If you told me one place doesn't have them, I would have guessed Poland.
You would have guessed Poland would be the anti-tarantulas.
Yeah, yes. I would assume all the venomous, horrible animals in the world exist in the Philippines.
Yes, that in Australia. That's
exactly.
Where
they're all connected, close to each other. That's what I mean.
Yeah. Well, not quite connected. But
you know what I mean.
Spiders can't swim very well.
All I'm saying is these keeping immigrants in cages stuff just makes me sick.
Yeah, exactly.
Even the Philippines are doing it.
But also give those spiders some cocaine water.
Detained. Give them cocaine water. Then they'll swim to Australia where they belong with all the rest of the deadly animals. Yeah, that's okay. I think that's going to wrap this hour up. I know we have the
most offensive
show 2 on Earth Part 2.
Yes,
at
indeed.
Wiley's Comedy Club on April 19th, Friday at 8 p.m. You guys are both on that. You have a lot of other comics on that.
Headliner
as well.
Cincinnati's own Rand Barnacle.
He's hilarious.
Okay, yeah.
Great comic. He's funny as hell.
Yeah,
and
it'll
everybody on the show is funny. I've seen them all before, and they're all good comics.
Right. Well, yeah, that's a good thing. You don't want to book a show and have a bunch of crap comics.
Half of the amount of good comics that you're getting would be worth the price of admission. You get so many good comics, you got to come and see it.
Absolutely.
And if nobody walks out that day, that would be interesting. But
I won't talk about the Third Reich. I won't do that.
The idea is not to drive people out. I think
I'm talking to the owner here.
I think the last one, people were expecting to be more offended, and that's why when Travis first named the show that, I said, "You are an idiot."
No, but in a way, it was
because that sets you up for failure right there.
Well,
if you're not offensive enough, people think, "Well, why'd you name it that?" And
but it's better that than them not know what they're getting into. Because that's when people leave. That's when people get, triggered and all that nonsense. So, I mean...
We don't have a lot of triggered people that come to our shows.
Well, yeah, it's because we're in the Midwest.
I mean, this isn't a funny bone. This is
it's not even the funny bone's problem. It's the comics. Comics are the most triggered people I've ever met.
Really?
Yes, by far.
Comics are.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I've not
that and
that.
I'd say either one. They're either that or either extreme. I mean, we're pretty.
Yeah,
I feel like pretty split on that.
Yes, we're either like us nihilist-looking creepy guys, or they're just very sensitive people. And I mean, yeah, of course, college students obviously are also a problem with that. But yeah, so if you're a college student, don't come unless you're very attractive.
Unless you don't college student, come on out and get offended.
Yes. You don't fit in with your other college student friends because they think you're the weirdo. We're here for you.
You're probably you're probably in good hands here.
I'll try not to do anything that's too horrible. Nah, I probably would actually.
Yeah, you will. Do you have any other shows coming up besides that?
Oh, I do have on this Friday. I'm doing JD Legends there with Dusty's show.
Okay.
Yeah, so that should be a fun show as well. Those are the only two right now that are this month, I think I have booked.
Okay. Cal, do you have anything else coming up?
Oh, I'll be around in Cincinnati, but I mean, if you're down there, check out our club, Go Bananas down there. I'll be popping up a few times this summer. And
one of the best clubs in the country.
But yeah,
Besides this
other
one,
than
of
that,
course.
this is my big break right here. So
Yes.
other than
Right,
that, this
right.
is
You're
what
on-
I'm
you're
putting
on
all
the
my
live-
money
yeah,
into.
You're on the live radio show right now, so you
This-
you
and-
have made it.
and the show. That's what I'm putting all my eggs in there.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Most offensive show.
Yeah.
Okay.
Between that and the live radio show, you've made it, sir.
Yeah.
You know, I
So-
mean, you're still not getting paid, but
It's the life of a comic.
that's the life of a comic. All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and take a break, and eventually we'll be back with I believe Dan Andrick is on his way in, and we'll get to talk to him. He's always got some fun stories. He half the time I think he's full of crap, but they're fun anyway. All right. We'll be back here shortly. Stick around. Thanks for listening to the Life Radio Show podcast. Check us out on Eventide Entertainment Podcast Network or wherever you listen to podcasts. Remember, if you want to listen live, we're on Tuesdays from 7 to 9 p.m. on WWSU 106.9 FM, with repeats on Wednesdays from 10 to noon and Thursdays from noon to 2. You can also stream the show live at WWSU1069.org. If you have suggestions or comments for the show, feel free to email thelife1069@gmail.com.
The brutal presence overwhelms me. The brutal presence.
It's kind of hard.